Welcome back to Dolor Factor Live, of course, only on DBS. Now, if you have any questions about the policy, anything about your concerns with the hurricane season, anything at all, it's not every day you get two gentlemen here who can talk to you with so much information about how to prepare yourself. And also, I think one of the main concerns was the affordability. Now, we've spoken about all those things. So perhaps you have been someone who has been, a victim and wished that you had done something about it. Maybe you'd like to share that story with others to try and help people to try and get a way of affording this. Now, I know, Eli, you had some concerns and you had some questions that you wanted answered.
Yeah. Well, one of the things that's so important to most persons is when you've had a catastrophe, a major event in your life, you need money usually like yesterday. You need like now. And in traditional policies, what normally happens is that you have an event, you have the damage, you have people coming and assessing, you have the arguments going on for months. I mean months. And you're not able to put your hand on your money. And you're frustrated, and you begin to call the insurances by all kinds of names. This livelihood protection policy avoids all of those things. Because of the way it's conceptualized, it avoids all of this. You have a trigger, you have an SMS coming from the Munich Reinsurance, it comes to EC Global, they inform the credit unions and the member whose policy it.
Just to
And within 14 days, and that's the other thing, the payment will come to you within 40 days. You're about to say...
Yeah, I was just saying, well, and a little defense for insurance companies. Yeah. For some insurance companies, it may not, that back and forth may not be all the time, but some persons may have the difficulty. And just to explain the process of the payment, what happens, it's independent of EC Global, meaning there is an independent agent who measures the wind and the rain.
Thank you.
Wind is measured by CRIFT, and the rain is by DHI by satellite. What will happen is that when the customers do the insurance with us initially, through the credit unions, they give us their cell phone numbers. The cell phone number is inputted into a spreadsheet, and that spreadsheet we send on to Micro Insure, who is part of the consortium team. Once there is a trigger, what we refer to as a trigger on an event occurring, DHI, who is the agent that measures the rain, will send EC Global a note. But before that, once there is an approaching event, all the customers, including ourselves, will get a note that there's an approaching system or whatever it is. When there is a trigger, EC Global will get, within 7 days, get a note or SMS saying that there is a trigger, and we will let you know, the DHI will let us know who will be paid and when they will be paid. The customer likewise will get an SMS message saying that there's a trigger. Okay, well, let's just go to the phone lines. Hello, welcome to Dolor Factor Live.
Good night, Julia. How
Good
are
night.
you?
Fine, thank you.
Good night to your guest.
Good night.
I tuned in a bit late, right, because I just got home. But and insurance. What I want to ask, right, if you rent in a house, and can you insure your stuff in the house? The house is not yours, but can you insure your stuff?
Yes, you can insure the contents to your house. As a matter of fact, you as the tenant, the contents are yours, so you have an interest in it, a financial interest in it. In addition to that, not just the contents, but there's a possibility that you could be liable to somebody else coming to the house, and the person can sue you, so you can also insure your liability.
Yeah.
All right, thank you.
All right, thank you. But how would someone like that, in that situation, let's just say they are actually renting. Now we're talking about your new policy. If they had, they were perhaps working in another area, and they wanted to insure outside of the area, it doesn't mean that because they don't own their property that they cannot insure?
Yeah, we don't, because we're not insuring the person's property.
Right.
We're actually interested in the livelihood. Now, the landlord could also insure. take that insurance, and likewise the tenant. The landlord may say, okay, I might lose. He may have guests coming every weekend to his house, and if there is a disaster, it means that he loses that income. So they may decide, okay, well, and let me take this policy to cover that likelihood of losing that income. Likewise, the individual working out of cash trees and in Viewfort, they may lose income. They may be a daily paid worker or an hourly paid worker, and they lose income. They may want to protect that income by taking the policy. Now, like I said, the customer, for example, there is no assessment. We do not go in and say, okay, let's verify damage. No. There is no damage. We do not assess the damage. The client will get an SMS saying that there is a trigger. You will get a percentage depending on the trigger. And once they get that message, within 14 days, the customer will get a payment on their account, right? The reason for that is, for the SMS message, is we wanted to ensure that there is transparency. So the regulator will get the SMS saying who has been paid out and the amounts that have been paid out. The beneficiary gets, which is the credit union or the cooperative. We get the message. Microinsurance get the message. Munich Re, who is the reinsurer, will get the message as to who is being paid. So EC Global really doesn't have control over who gets paid.
No, not
right?
at all.
Or you're right. Not that we don't control it. We get the text like everybody else, and we are told to pay, and we will pay.
Okay.
And the beautiful other thing, as I said, once the credit unions are notified that member X is entitled to a sum of Y, the credit union can go ahead and pay, even before the 14 days, knowing fully well that the money will come to the credit union.
Right.
The money to be paid from EC Global is coming directly to the credit union, who must then lodge it into the account of that member. So in community credit unions, the banks wouldn't do that, but in the credit union is part of the community. And once you're certain that the money is available, you can facilitate that person who's suffered that kind of loss, because I've lost part of my income because of that event, therefore I need this money to take me on to the next stage. All right? I have lost income. Not that I have a house damage or something. I have lost income, because this is what it's all about. This is a livelihood protection policy.
And we cannot enforce that too strongly to you. You must understand that,
yeah,
as we keep saying, yes, you have to ensure that you are adequately protected.
Yes.
Your livelihood is protected. Do not
income.
wait till the last minute to do it, and do not rely on friends and family to help you out.
That's why they
as we said earlier on, you start using your savings to use on something that could have been prevented, you're really not going to like yourself.
Thank you.
When we come back, we're going to choose tonight's winners, and we'll also give you a little synopsis of what we were talking about tonight. So we'll see you soon.